What's up, everybody? It's Doc Fortune, just playing some Team Fortress matches. Been trying to get this up and do another daily TF2 for a couple of days now, but been feeling rough under the weather. I kept having bad matches, bad streams, and generally was unhappy with the quality. So I kept deleting them. And so here we are again today, trying to be in a little bit better mood, trying to be a little bit better of a sport, trying to be a little bit better to listen to. So, I'm going to play some Harvest, some... Looks like they're trying to trap us inside the base here, but we just can't let that kind of thing stand, you know what I mean? Oh my god, everywhere, they're all around us. Yeah, so situations like this, especially if I've, had a headache or had a hard time with life, would be really frustrating to me. I'd join a match and we're just trapped inside of a spawn by all this shit. 3 snipers, heavies everywhere. We're not doing that for the rest of the whole fucking time. We just came into this. That's the team that we are on. It's their fault that we're in that situation. We jumped in to try and just play around, and we're trapped in the spawn and can't get out. So yeah, this is the kind of horseshit that I've been trying to avoid, because this game will just piss me off and put me in a bad mood. I'll start saying horrible fucked up things that I don't really mean. And you guys will get to be the witness of it all. You'll get to drink it in, and that's not a good influence on anybody. Unless you like watching miserable assholes suffer, which I admit, that can be kind of funny sometimes, so no judgments here. I drew a new thumbnail for TF2 that I'm going to try to use for this from now on. I was, thinking about my art and how I was kind of running out of it. Of having various things to put up for the thumbnail whenever. Try to make sure that sentry gun doesn't go up. Chunk that guy down. We got some soldiers coming up, but they can't shoot the ground, so they're gonna have a hard time aiming at us. That's right, boys. You gotta actually aim. Can't just rocket jump into the sky and shoot the ground this time, I'm afraid. We're all just casualties in the soldiers' war against the ground. Killed our spy, but we got him back. Vengeance for the spy! So we've had some interesting things going on. Trying to work on some art, like I said. Drew a new thumbnail for TF2. Gonna be working on one for RimWorld and probably Sonic Crossworlds and all the games that I plan on playing regularly. Final Fantasy Tactics is another one that we've been doing. We'll play it until we get all the way through the story and have all the secrets and all the little Easter eggs uncovered. So look forward to that stuff. We typically do Final Fantasy Tactics on Saturdays around 8 o'clock at night. If we can manage it, shoot for 8. So far it hasn't been a problem. And it's become one of my favorite things to play on stream. Been having a lot of fun with it. We did 2 streams equaling about 3 hours. Ooh, that guy got his head cut right off. I watched it. I seen it with my own eyes. You don't want this guy to cap or get on the point. Yeah, there we go. You just had to keep him from getting any overtime. Drag this out. And so we did. Adios, amigo. Let me come in here and taunt at you. Oh, we didn't quite get it. Yeah, so a little bit under the weather this weekend. I was feeling like trash. Every time I tried to get daily TF2 off of the ground or do it, I was just getting mad and pissed and just making it a bad time, taking it out on everyone. And so we had been taking a break. But we can kind of get back into it now. I've been sleeping on NyQuil a lot every day, so maybe that's helping me recover. Come in the morning first thing, drink a big gulp of NyQuil, and sleep until the afternoon. Lucky dime. That's Scrooge McDuck's lucky dime, but he fell in the water, and he was eaten by sharks immediately.
Alert! The control point is being captured.
Thinking some about, like, you know,
We have lost control point.
at least in the Western culture, we've been having a difficult time because all the deconstructions that go on. And, you know, there's a lot of people who use the term deconstruction, and it may have some kind of formal official meaning, and it may be one thing versus the other, but when I'm talking about it, what I generally mean is they go, what if Superman existed in the real world? And then they proceed to make Superman look completely fucking stupid because they show how it wouldn't work the way that the comics portray it in the quote-unquote real world. And it's like, well, yeah, he's an aspirational fantasy character. Like, it's not intended. Nobody thought that the world where a guy can fly and catch planes and fucking throw battleships across the galaxy into the sun, nobody expected that to be realistic. And the point of it was not to convey a realistic world. It was to convey a fantastic world by which an aspirational figure like Superman can serve as a role model for people when trying to just overcome difficulties in their daily lives. So I hate deconstructions. I think they're mean-spirited. I think they're stupid. I think they're the mark of the intellectually bereft. The Boys, any of this crap where it's like, aren't superheroes dumb? What if they were real? Then it would happen like this. And then they just, their version of realism is everything sucks and it's bad, and you shouldn't have any hope for anything. You're stupid for believing anything. That's basically, it's a gritty, nihilistic, edgy, edgelord, grim, dark view of things, you know, where the person doing the quote-unquote deconstruction is really just trying to ruin it out of spite for anybody who likes it. And I think we've had enough of that shit. We've had enough of the
Alert! The control point is being captured.
evil Superman. I don't ever want to fucking see that trope again. It's the stupidest goddamn thing ever. And it sucks. It's not fun to watch. It's not enjoyable. It's not entertaining. It doesn't make you think. It really makes you think. You know how people act like they're saying something so fucking smart and important when they just make it grim and stupid and evil. So we kind of need to get back to, and then there's some things that kind of straddle the line, right? Like Invincible, I would say, kind of straddles this line because ultimately, like, I view the art of Invincible as not a deconstruction, even though it's in the genre for sure, because it's like, it's got an evil Superman, which I hate, but he's nuanced. He has an arc. He doesn't just stay cartoonishly like a fucking Garth Ennis character the whole time. You know, he does the kind of things you would expect, like reacts to the words and actions of his friends and family, that they actually have an impact on him rather than just being this fucking cartoonish caricature of evil that deconstructions often like to portray as realistic. But the whole total arc of Invincible, once you get through the story and get to sort of how it concludes, it's definitely not like a deconstruction, because it makes it all whole. It makes it all right again. Spoiler. I mean, like, we're not even anywhere near close to the ending of Invincible in the cartoon. The animated Amazon series is primarily how I enjoy it, although I know that there's lots of very good comics. Robert Kirkman can be controversial because of how he ended The Walking Dead, I know. But in general, I think he's good. I've liked lots of comics that he's made. The Irredeemable Ant-Man was far too short-lived at Marvel Comics. It was a great comic, but they didn't give him time to cook, and he would have cooked if they would have let him finish that series. It was very good. The Irredeemable Ant-Man. I'm not trying to fight these dudes, I'm just trying to get on the point so that we don't lose. It's been 1-1. But ultimately, the reason that I give Invincible a pass is if you stick long with it in the end, it really is a story of where like heart and morals and humanity and goodness triumph. It's not leading you down this path of just trying to like ruin all the things that you like and then leave you with a bitter taste in the end. If you follow the story of Invincible all the way through to its conclusion, the way it ended in the comics, it's very good and uplifting, and I would consider it like a reconstruction, where it took the trope of like breaking down these characters and trying, well, what if they were real? And it like re-enshrined it in a sense of enchantment, of goodness, of heroism prevailing, of good people prevailing over evil. I like all those things that Invincible does. Because ultimately a story is just a fiction. You know, people are like, well, the Hulk wouldn't really beat the Juggernaut in a fight. And I'm like, what is this really shit? These are both fictional characters, and they're just subject to whatever the whims of the writer are at the time. There's no, like, the real Juggernaut wouldn't lose to Flabbity Blue. It's like, who fucking cares? Like, so don't sit here and give me this shit about realism where it's like everything that's good is fantasy and everything that's bad is realism. Like, the story's fiction and you could have written it however you wanted, so don't pass off your nihilistic views like realism. And that's what a lot of this shit is. Like, I got on this kick because I was reading some crap about Garth Ennis trashing Captain America before I came on to play Team Fortress. You know, and he likes to make out that Captain America isn't a realistic character and that he doesn't do justice to the veterans that served in World War II and all this shit. And it's like, well, the guy who created Captain America, or co-created him at least, was Jack Kirby. And Jack Kirby did serve in World War II, unlike your stupid ass Garth Ennis with your little preacher grimdark Punisher comics where you just wish everything was the Punisher. Like, that's really fucking Garth Ennis's beef, is that nobody knows who his name is but for the fact that he's written superhero comics. And nobody gives a shit about the things that he wishes he was writing, which are a bunch of gritty, grimdark, nihilistic war stories. And that's why he makes fucking Punisher and Nick Fury and all that shit gritty, grim, and dark, and quote-unquote realistic. So, Garth Ennis is really the main target of this rant whenever I start to get on it. And I like some of Garth Ennis' stuff, too. I like Punisher Max, and I like Preacher. But he's an insufferable cunt when it comes to superheroes because he's mad at them for making him famous. He's mad at them that the world loves a certain thing en masse and they don't love his thing. And so he wants to shit on it and make it seem silly and goofy and passe and cliche and all of that stuff. But it's only like that when it's the way that you frame it, Garth. Like, you know, not everybody wants to just read a bunch of fucking grimdark nihilism all the time. Some people want to escape. Some people want to be amazed, or they want to entertain fantastical possibilities, or they just want something that'll take them out of their daily life, or something, give them something interesting to talk about or have under their cap. Excuse me. Injustice sucks. The Boys sucks. The evil Superman trope sucks. It's time to put that to rest. It's time to start getting back to like figuring out what made us love these characters in the first place, and to kind of distill them back down to the essence of, you know, kind of how they were intended. Superheroes are kind of a personal subject. I've always liked them. I've always enjoyed them. I've always been a comics reader. I've always been a comics aficionado. And unfortunately, like, the way things work now is the comics are the least important thing that these characters are in. It's like usually big budget, multi-million-dollar movies made by people who hate the fans and don't understand the characters, so they drift farther and farther away from their original like design and the things that made them what they were, as they constantly get reinterpreted and redesigned, and the goalposts on, you know, what they stand for keeps getting moved, or like Spider-Man is one example I gripe a lot about. Tom Holland's Spider-Boy Iron Man Jr. Because they change a lot of the stuff about the character, and it's sneaky and it's subtle, and people just love Spider-Man so much that they're like willing to put up with all this shit if they just get more Spider-Man. Like, who cares if it's like, it doesn't mean anything that the character stood for, right? Like in this incarnation, there is no Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben didn't die. He didn't teach Peter a lesson about great power and great responsibility. He's not even really like in the Spider-Man movies. It's just Aunt May. And then Aunt May dies, and that's what teaches this Spider-Man. And it's like, just shut up. Because they can't let it be about what it's about. They have to try and turn it into some kind of vehicle for a modern message. So now Spider-Man's basis isn't like, he let his uncle die, and that taught him that, you know, great power comes great responsibility. Now it's some weird, goofy, mixed up shit about the Green Goblin coming from a fucking multiverse to kill Aunt May or whatever. It doesn't hold the same weight. It doesn't make the same sense. And they deliberately fucked it all up just so they could be like, well, now he learned his lesson from a woman instead of from a man. Who cares? Who fucking cares? So, and that's just one major gripe of the many that I have. We're not going to get on a fucking anti-Spider-Man tirade because I'm kind of done with pop culture anyway. Just all the people that hate me have bought it and ruined it, and they're going to keep making it terrible on purpose forever out of spite. So I've just given up. I don't need to engage in that kind of self-abuse as a fan. They can just ruin it till it's driven completely into the ground, and then it'll be a worthless pile of caca that they can't make money off of anymore. And that'll be the end of it, I guess. I still have all my old stuff that I love. And I'd like to get back to that somehow. Like, the thing about all of this deconstruction of our heroes and our characters and our institutions and our, well, I don't really particularly care about institutions all that much, if I'm being honest, because they're prone to corruption, but you know, Western literature, Western entertainment, Western media, Western music, Western movies and culture all across the board have been heavily like deconstructed. Why can't I move? I'm so upset. This is not me like playing some strategic move. I'm lagging so badly that I can't walk. So the reason that all that stuff has been deconstructed across the board is to take away from people in the West any sort of meaningful kind of models on which we can sort of build up got some revenge there, that's good. No health there, so I burned to death. The reason for all this deconstruction is to take away good models from people in the West so that they don't have like the psychic energy or the fuel or the example to stand up against the things that are being done to them, which are, you know, we're being widespread surveilled by flock cameras everywhere. Nobody voted for this shit. Nobody wanted it. Nobody asked for it. But against their will, city councils all over the place are taking bribes from the fucking flock company and the federal government or the local governments or whoever's paying them to go against the will of the people and put up mass surveillance all over the fucking place. They want us to just accept that and not fight back against it. And right now we have, you know, Gen X and the older generations that are still fighting against that stuff. But I don't see a lot of the younger generations really feeling all that riled up about it. They seem to be more docile and just willing to accept whatever's going to be done to them. So it's important to have those kind of models for people to look up to. It may not seem like a lot, but so there's a famous experiment. I'm sorry I can't remember the name, but if you look it up, you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about. You know, an intelligence agency, one of the agencies brings people in and they have several agents posing as, let's say, researchers, right? And they put one person in the room or 3 people in the room with like 11 other agents posing as people participating in the subject. And they say something, they say something to the effect like 2 + 2 = 5, right? And like the first 7 people who answer the question all agree that, yeah, 2 + 2 = 5. And then you get to the 8th person who's not in on it and they don't know what's going on, but they see all of the rest of the people going, these fucking guys are saying 2 + 2 = 5? Like this must be some trick, or there must be something I'm missing that they're not, so I'll just say 2 + 2 = 5. And a lot of people are prone, I'm using a gross exaggeration as an example, nobody would ever agree that 2 + 2 = 5, but just substitute it with anything that's false. A lot of people will go on along with a narrative that they believe to be false just because everybody else is saying it. But what the study proved is if even one person broke ranks, if even one normal person dissented, then all the rest of the people would go, hey, yeah, I think this guy's right. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5. So you need somebody who's willing to call out the charades. And you need those examples in your entertainment and your media that show you to do that, to show you that it's good and noble and that it's worthwhile, it's worth, risking how people see you. It's worth it to speak up and to stand for the truth, or else you're going to be living in an upside down world where nothing makes sense and you don't really have any rights anymore. So
competition begins.
Having good media is part of that, because it inculcates people with these ideas when they're young, and then they feel strongly about them and they stand up for them and defend them. Just chasing the scout around. because it makes me super fast. Ooh, these guys.
Competition begins in 30 seconds.
This is pre-game, so we're just messing with them. Keeping them trapped in the spawn. Oh, he got backstabbed. He flew too close to the sun. Wanderer with his rudeness. Shove an uber saw up that guy's ass before the match is over with. Speaking of like the world getting back on track, how about Candace Owens stomping that Andrew Wilson moron who likes to pretend like he's smart by beating up on OnlyFans girls? He brings a bunch of dumbass whores on his show to criticize them and make it look like all women are stupid. Cherry picks people he can beat up on, and then he had to go debate a real woman who actually cares about something and knows her facts. And he looked like the biggest, stupidest clown in the world with his jittering foot and his little shitty, underhanded gotcha tactics that weren't fooling anybody and just did not work whatsoever. I do not consider myself on a side. I think joining is for cultists. I say don't join anything, don't be a joiner, be a free-thinking individual. But I do like to know what each side thinks, and I do like to listen to people who are honest and who believe what they say, who mean what they say and say what they mean, and an elephant's faithful 100%, all that. So when I want things from the perspective of a conservative person, I listen to Candace Owens. And when I want things from the perspective of a lefty, I listen to Jimmy Dore. And those are the only people that I think are not lying to me in all of news media, I guess you could call it. I think the rest of them are either in the pocket of someone, or they're pretty delusional, or just pushing or advancing some kind of agenda. So it doesn't mean I agree with those people and everything that they say. It doesn't mean I believe everything that I say. I've seen them get duped. I've seen Jimmy Dore get duped by some people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But he's not pushing anybody's agenda. He's just reporting on things as he sees them from the perspective that he sees them on. So I used to be pretty much lefty, and I still cling to a lot of those values, but like the thing about it is it's not really like the people who that you might think of as the left, I don't think of as really being leftist, and I don't really think of them as being honest, and I don't think of them as actually giving a shit about any of the things they pretend to give a shit about. I view them as liars who just say whatever they have to do to get elected and then do the same shit that the Republicans do. So there's really like no difference. They all serve money. They all serve sinister alien dark gods that, you know, whether you believe in them or not, they believe in them. And so they structure their life around these strange arcane figures. So can't quite get it, homie. Neither can I. I got trapped following you. But I'm ready to see some more reconstructions. I'm ready for people to stand up and go, hey, you know what? Like, human beings are basically good if you put them in the right conditions. They're not inherently evil. They're not inherently bad. They're not inherently selfish. All of this shit is pushed by people with an agenda. People who think that there's too many human beings on the planet, and we need to get rid of half of them, and fucking globalist technocrat shit like that. Like, that's what they really believe at the heart of it, not whatever they're pretending to believe to get your vote. So you might as well be done. If you've got a side, me and you just can't see eye to eye. I don't believe in these sides. I believe it's, you know, more class-based than it is left and right. It's more about haves versus have-nots than it is some sort of political ideology.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
A lot of this comes from the conspiracy world, which might seem spurious if you're thinking about it as a common layperson, but I'm just the type of individual that's always been interested in whatever is strange or weird or spooky or far out or fantastical, and so naturally I gravitate towards those subjects. And inevitably, when you look into that stuff, whether it's just for fun or not, you find that there's a lot of red flags for things that may have actually happened. Because the way that the world works isn't like, we have a democracy and we vote on things and the people's voice is heard and then they decide with the will of the Constitution. It's not based on all that shit. It's a crime syndicate. The world works the way a crime syndicate would work. And the front face of it is all of the shit that I just said mockingly. That part's make-believe. It's for show. And it's just for the people in the way that, you know, there's an esoteric and exoteric version of religions. The esoteric shit is the secret stuff that you have to be especially initiated into in order to understand. And then the exoteric stuff is like the McDonald's version that's for all the dum-dums and the masses, right? So it's like you kind of have the basic standard sort of take on things, which you get with sort of an exoteric view. And then you have kind of the secret for the priest class, for the magi, for the ones really in the know, the 33rd degree, all that kind of shit, is the esoteric stuff. And that substrate of people who are telling you one thing and doing another in secret, that's really like who's running things. And they don't take your vote into account. They don't give a fuck how you vote. The vote is there to appease you and make you feel like you're doing something. Once they get into office, they're going to do whatever the people with the money tell them to do, or whoever has blackmail on them, or whoever's threatening them with political assassination. It's run the same way that a crime syndicate is run. It's not run like a bunch of fucking officials who go into a chamber and swear an oath on the Bible and take a solemn vote. It doesn't work like that. That's a show for dummies, right? There's a guy, a philosopher, when I say a guy, his name is literally Guy, or maybe Guy is how you pronounce it. Might be a French gentleman, but Guy Debord, or Guy Debord, if you want to call him that. He was a situationist, and he talks a lot about this concept he calls the spectacle, and how society is a spectacle. And it's really this big sort of show for the people, you know, in Rome. They would say, give them breaded circuses and so forth. So much of what happens in the culture and the society is a mass distraction, either to keep people bothered or busy or entertained or too docile to interfere in the affairs of the patricians, the rich people who form the Senate and the whatever, all of the hoity-toity shit that's supposed to be so It's supposed to be so official and sacred in determining all of our rules and regulations as a society, so... God damn, there's sentry guns everywhere. Sorry, my brain is half in this conversation and half in the game that's going on. I'm trying to maintain some semblance of coherency, but if it sounds like I'm rambling on and on and on, I am, for one. And also, I'm frustratedly trying to figure out how to get past all these fucking sentry guns. Everybody on our team is quitting. I'm not going to fight with these guys. I can play medic and give us Uber charges, and we can go out there and Uber charge twice and get fucked around by the whole goddamn enemy team and get air blasted into the sky. But I can't kill the sentry guns for them. I can't do that part. They actually have to do it. And the servers are fucked up or crashed or something right now. So that might be it for this stream if we can't get them to come back online. So there's no amount of like being a good boy that I can do and just taking my medicine and playing medic for the team for the sake of the team, because we have all these fucking stupid snipers and dumb shit just dicking around. None of those fucking people are gonna kill 3 goddamn sentry guns, and so we're just trapped in our base. So GG to the other team. If I switched to an offense class, we wouldn't have a medic and we still wouldn't get out. So we can't start the search right now because the servers are crashed up. So I was just trying to get a game of TF2 in where I rambled and talked and sort of put together my thoughts on deconstruction and reconstruction, and got through it without complaining too much or bitching and crying, being a miserable cunt generally, and saying a bunch of horrible things that drives people away. So I hope I didn't do that today. I hope you enjoyed watching if you watched it all, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time whenever we do some Sonic Cross Worlds or some RimWorld or some Final Fantasy Tactics. We play all those games intermittently, and you can check them out on my playlist, Doc Fortune Games. There's also several individual playlists on my channel if you just want to watch just RimWorld or just TF2 or whatever. I thank you for watching along, and I'll see you next time.